Vlog 153, everybody. Can you believe it? 153. Yes, we're there. Hey, everyone. It's me, Jaime, the shut-in cartoonist musician, and I'm vlogcasting, of course, from the Tortilla Press World headquarters located on that little island that's not as shrouded today by that crappy smoke that's been going around, but it's still out there. I already know that because I was out this morning wearing my mask, ironically getting my truck smogged. So it passed, of course, and I've already gone online and paid for my registration, so I'm good for another year. And smog, I guess I'm good for another 2 years. Today I'm going to talk about music, not holding up any albums because I'm really getting into Spotify. It's, as you can see, it's here on my phone. I'm listening right now to the complete albums of Sam and Dave. Love Sam and Dave. I love the Stax label. If I had to pick one label, it's probably Stax. And I mean, that's, close because there's Chess, Specialty, Motown, of course. There's so many, but Stax is just a king label. Stax, though, is as I said 1,000 times, if a gun was put to my head and someone said, all right, you have to pick one band that is, to you, the greatest band of all time. Yes, the Beatles are up there. Jimi Hendrix, not really a band, but I love Jimmy. Curtis Mayfield. You can go through jazz. I love John Coltrane. But bands. The newer bands, which aren't really that new anymore, NRBQ or Los Lobos. But I always go to Booker T and the MGs. Booker T and the MGs. Man, there's just something about those guys. Memphis, I don't know if it's in the water or what. And they backed, of course, Sam and Dave. And I think the Bar-Kays were the horn section. Aretha, Otis. Just go down the list, man. It's pretty cool. And I always wanted to go to their museum. Maybe when the COVID lifts, that's what I'll do. I do want to see that part of history because I love music, which brings me also to Booker T and the MGs. I just thought of it just occurred to me. I got the box set, those 4 CDs. It's like a big book, maybe 10 years ago or so from Dennis Thomas Eddy, my dear friend Mark, childhood friend Mark, who I still am close to, his older brother, who Dennis was kind of my first boss, maybe my second boss if we don't count. I can't remember his name. The manager of my paper route when I had one as a kid. But Dennis was like awesome. But I was up visiting in Sacramento like a decade ago and went by his shop, and he sold it to me for really cheap. I begged him not to, but he was laughing at how fanatical I was about them. He was always fanatical about the Kinks, and I remember making that joke, like, well, you got the Kinks, I got these guys, so we're doing well. Miss him dearly. But I wanted to bring up also music and how it's made lifelong friends like Mark. Mark and I met in junior high school, and I think it was in 7th grade shop class. We bonded over Mott the Hoople and the album Mott, which my friend Avery had. You've heard me talk about Avery Burns on here 1,000 times. And his dad had it, actually. And I owe a lot to his dad, Doyle Burns, his record collection. Because, the parents, like, we just had my mom, my grandparents, my step-grandparents had good music. But, it was, Nat King Cole, the Ink Spots, the Mills Brothers, Billy Eckstine, Duke Ellington, all the classics, a lot of Ray Charles. And that was fine. My mom had Nat King Cole, a lot of that stuff, and of course all the Spanish language stuff like Vicky Carr, Edie Gourmet y los Tres Panchos, Vicente Fernandez. My mom would get a little jiggy there with Celia Cruz. But, as a kid, you want to hear some cooler stuff. So Avery's dad, Doyle, that's where I discovered Bob Dylan. And I already heard the Beatles. I knew their music, their early stuff, but I really got into their later stuff thanks to Doyle. And his record collection, of course, Mott the Hoople, and I'm trying to remember other people, but those right there, Avery and I'd sit out in the back room and like eat crackers and drink sodas or something, look at comic books and listen to, Mott the Hoople or the Beatles or something. And it's just funny how music binds and brings people together. My high school dearest friend, Arturo Arias, him and I formed our first bands together. And really bonded over music. I was like the R&B guy, and he was the rock dude. And together, we were talented. I'm not gonna lie, we were talented kids, and we were serious about it. I remember more than one gig. I remember more than a few gigs showing up with our homemade shitty equipment, and other kids or even would laugh at us like, "Ooh, who are these guys?" You know, we were from a ghetto school, and then we'd start up and we'd blow people's hair off. They'd be like, "Holy crap, you guys are good!" And adults, I remember I did it in the comic book, my one shot punk book, Los Punkers, where we actually went to a gig, and I remember hearing some guy smarting off going, "Oh, kids? Oh, I guess we're going to hear some Fisher Price music or Kitty music or something like that," which you got little titters, laughs around them. At the end of that gig, people came up to us and said, "Wow, you guys are really good." And we're like, "Yeah, we know." I'm not bragging, man. It ain't bragging if you can back it up. We worked hard. Like I said, it was talent and working hard and just being so devoted to it. That's why. And it wasn't this whole we weren't doing it to be famous or get attention. We just wanted to replicate the art that we liked, and we liked the buzz we got off of it. And as years went on, I'm going to tie this up here. As years went on, and I started playing music out as an adult, and I, got to go on the road, and I was on some fairly big stages with some pretty big names. Somewhere, it was in California though. I was playing somewhere though, out of like some glorious place like Fresno or somewhere. And I remember talking to a younger guy in a band that opened up for us, and him and I were talking shop with the guitars. And he says, "What's the best gig you played this tour or whatever?" And I said whatever it was. And he goes on. I go, "How about you?" And he told me his. And he said, "Then what's the best gig you ever played?" And I remember I sat back and thought, and for 1 second it hit me. And he thought I was kidding. And I go, "Dude, I'd say a lot of the gigs I played as a teenager in high school in people's living rooms. I've never been able to recapture that. The buzz, the energy, it was just unbridled and unfettered and just pure as hell. It was really cool. And like I said, of all the things I've got to do musically, have been great. I'm not knocking them, but there's just something about those early years. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. You guys got to go out today because that's 7 minutes. Hopefully you enjoy this. Mask up, keep your hands washed, sanitized, keep your distance, stay in. Actually, start reading, do some push-ups. There's a lot of stuff you can do. Start baking. Baking's fun. We've been getting into that lately. And most importantly, be kind to yourself, though, and be kind to other people. And let's squash this so we can get back to a semblance of a happy life. All right, everybody, thank you for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe down below, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.